Legionnaires de Latesse, you can never count them out. We've seen some crazy holds out of them in terms of decoding. But as we seek to our last two matches here on Space City, both with Mandelbricks, you know who I'm calling to have a comeback, Goj? Mandelbrick Addiction.
Yeah, obviously won semifinals B. They've been winning a lot of scrims. Just had a really rough go of it today thus far. But it's still technically anybody's game for the most part. But we are running out of runway as per the usual. You might not have a rocket extraction this time around, depending on the way it goes, but we are headed back to Space City. Map 5 is here. The stakes couldn't be higher, so let's take a quick look at what operators we will see on this map. Celestirance has yet to use Seneva. Kind of been the story of the day. Hardly anybody using Nox. Tiff, anything else you're seeing here? I'm seeing no stingers for Legionnaires and YJK, which could come back to maybe bite them based on the amount of smokes they need.
Yeah, this is tough for Mandelbrick Addiction. You've burned both of your opportunities to use Luna, and you didn't really get any value out of it. Sure, you've got the Hat Claw, right? You could find some sort of information associated with that, so we'll likely go ahead and focus on bringing them in. You also don't have any Seneva, and Seneva has been really powerful in terms of our Delta Force Invitational Qualifiers, and a lot of teams don't have that access to him. Legionnaires de Latesse, they've got 2 there for the last couple rounds. If they even decide to bring Seneva in, you have to be able to flex and adapt based on what you're seeing. And for now, we're just kind of getting into the remnants of what we have left, which really isn't a lot. But the only thing that we need to focus on right now is getting to that Mandelbrick.
The stakes couldn't be higher, folks. Game 5 is here, and we're starting out hot. Take a look at our map view. The first 2 teams that can interact yet again. 2 of the teams near the top, no longer 1 and 2, as Fallen has become 1. Is now 2 and 3. Legionnaires see Perry from a distance. Perry is running away. By the way, Fallen Central Command building is there, and they found rocket fuel for 1.5 mil. Sure, it takes up a crazy amount of space in your inventory, but for a team that's already at the top of the leaderboard, they're likely going to adopt the strategy that Legionnaires just did in the last map. Fallen doesn't have to play for this brick. They have so much loot value on the table. It is very unlikely they get knocked out of a top 2 position unless one of these other teams pick up 2 mana bricks.
See, that's what you got to focus up on. Just get your loot value up. Let's say someone completely different picks up a Mandelbrick. As long as your loot value is greater, you're solid. You can deal with it there towards the end, but we're already getting into some early action, and it's all going down the same place we saw that initial fight in match number 4 between Legionnaires de Latesse and Perry. This time, completely different teams, and well, they've already got that opening knock. But for NGNL, you've got Pika here on your screen, locked into the Stinger that might be looking for a potential reset. Can we go ahead and get that? You want to have your Stinger out there focusing on the resets just based on the toolkit, but Yak up here gets peppered. There's some nice shots coming on the other side.
The team that I had the most question marks around was this No Game, No Life team, because they're the only team, I believe, in the competition that hasn't participated, at least in an official broadcast, on this format. Everybody else had to go through qualifiers for this format. They were in season 0 way back when. I'm sure they've been competing a ton and playing a ton. And unfortunately lost one, but they were able to get the revive back, so they should be fine. Are seeing a Luna come in for them and a Stinger. This is a pretty typical for Space City. Stingers, extra smokes, extremely valuable for some of these extremely long sight lanes. Look at the one we're watching right now. Luna information gatherer. I'd expect on some of these other teams, they all had a Viren left. I'd expect to see at least a Viren. Couple Virens between the rest of these teams. Either way, it's just trying not to give up position right now. By the way, off screen, 30 seconds before that Mandelbrick can be picked up. Here's a look at it. Production's on top of it. Perry set up in the facility. You've got Mandelbrick Addiction back where they were before. In the test site, top right, northeastern corner. Looks like actually a fight happening, so we're going to swap over there. Perry loses 2?
Stop.
What angle?
This is not good. A crazy one, to be said. At least you do have your Luna last standing. You keep that information flowing, but it's not like we're in a good position. Can we hit this reset off? We pick up our body, we bring them up. Sometimes those auto tanks that are going to be lurking will make things difficult, but Mandel Brick Addiction, not only were they reaping scrims, they were one of the biggest threats coming into this, right? We thought that was going to be the case, but the first 4 matches really haven't gone their way. Immediately after picking up that Mandel Brick, everything gets sent out, and look at that angle. We are seeing some pokes coming on in, but you know what? We get on out, we start our objective, we need to hit the decoding station to set up.
It's showing in our kill feed that Stickinson was wiped by the boss.
Happens.
I think the auto tank just came in and cleaned him up, or maybe the sniper cleaned him up. I do think the kill will technically go towards Mandel Brick Addiction, as they had set up a better angle. I wonder, we didn't see the first part of that fight. I wonder if Perry maybe had set up a trap again where they were split and they were able to just find it. Here's the other decoding station, though. This is the other one that, again, Space City, both of the decoding stations are so interesting because you basically can't camp them. There's not an angle you can hold that just stares at them without being out in the open. And so Mandel Brick Addiction, they plant it, and then they're going to run upstairs in this building and play from high ground to potentially get some information on teams trying to address this position from the outside. They're going to be able to look down on this, get some info. Perry, again, down to 2. They've picked up their 3rd, but a reminder that Stickinson has hit yellow respawn, which means if Stickinson goes down again, we'll be out of this lobby without anybody able to get him back.
Quite tough, but we're about to hit that 3 minutes. That's all right, though. YJK, they're taking up that same position that we saw Legérance de la Teste do that in match number 4. The only difference here is YJK doesn't have a Mandelbreck, and LGDT did. Fallen, kind of rotating there through the printing room, working their way down. But the real issue is between Perry and Mandel Brick Addictions, these are the 2 teams that are going to need to contend. They need a decode successfully. But who is going to kind of open that up initially? Because if you give them too much time to focus and be able to scout, you can use a lot of that bulletproof glass and those angles to make that happen. But oh my God, look, let me just tell you, that auto tank is doing work on Perry.
Yeah, what is happening? Perry in an utter blender as Starbaxter goes down. No problem. Starbaxter wasn't the player that got knocked earlier. Or full knocked into yellow timer, so should be able to get him back up, no problem. Should have a full team of 3. Oh, wait, no, maybe he also went full down. Wait, we've lost Starbaxter. Yeah, that's an X, not a plus, which means Starbaxter is not getting back into this lobby. Oh, no. Just a brutal map for them. They haven't been getting anything going since our very first map of the day. That's so unfortunate.
It is a Mandel Brick curse for them. All of the lobbies they've done well in were the airdrops. From here on out, it has just been tough. So Stickinson here, they're just kind of trying to make way, deal with some of those map fatals. But as long as they stay away from the tanks, they're fine, right?
Yeah, well, I certainly would. But they're going to play the high ground here. Mandel Brick Addiction, perfect setup on the inside here. You're going to see Stickinson get cut down if he's not careful. He knows Skydie's on the other side, but he hasn't peeked left yet. We've got one member of Mandel Brick Addiction holding this cross. Here we go. Skydie's got the front angle. It's Yuval with the off angle. If they push out, he's going to try to bait them here. Yuval should pick up a 1v2, and Perry will be full wipe. Now, it looks like some shots maybe were fired from Yuval. They might have spotted him. I'd love to see his perspective. Oh, just kidding. Bye-bye. Didn't spot him. Yuval with the 2-piece. Yuval with another team wipe. Perry out of this lobby.
And less than a minute to go before they lock it in with that decode and put themselves on the board with Legérance de la Teste and Fallen, thus making that match number 6 one of the craziest games that we will get to win to send ourselves to the Delta Force Invitational in China, right? We are just getting that much closer. And I don't think one of our teams, both of our teams that have Mandel Bricks, are going to do anything about this here today.
Now, I thought Yuval was just proned out on the ground. We learned something new today. I know you guys learned some stuff in the semifinals, some crazy jump spots. I've never seen that one. The YY ladder stall. Basically, at the top of the ladder, play the lip like that. That's insane. By the way, 10 seconds for Mandel Brick Addiction. Nobody can get here in time. It's a freebie. A great call out, and you can see No Game No Life is sprinting towards the objective. It's just too late. Mandel Brick Addiction. Tiff, you called it perfectly. You asked them to step up. You said, we've been waiting for you. What's going on? And they said, how about now, folks? How now, brown cow? We've got it. Great book, by the way.
I love this. I don't know if I just have this level of just the ability to see the future, but I think it's working. It started a couple days ago, Goj, when we were on a different broadcast, and now it's here today. I'm manifesting all the things, and this time it went towards Mandel Brick Addiction. So can they get their loot value up now? Because sure, you got a Mandel Brick, but then you have to think about the total assets, and you were at the bottom of the leaderboard coming into this. So you did get the main currency, but we did get a flash of it, right? You're still dealing with Fallen and LGDT, and they're both up north of 20 million.
Yeah, this is really interesting. We'll get into some of the minutia between games. With the Mandel Brick off the map right now, it's all about loot value. It's all about wiping other teams right now. You're now playing for total loot. So the ranking metric, of course, Mandel Brick. But with 3 teams now having a Mandel Brick, all different teams, with a single Mandel Brick, it's going to come down to loot value. Mandel Brick Addiction, like you said, at the bottom end of that category. So they need to stay on this map. There's no reason to get out. They need to stay on this map, wipe these teams, and get as much loot as humanly possible. They've got 2.6 right now, which isn't bad. Nobody else has hardly anything to show for this map alone. But this map's still an important one, even though the Mandel Brick is already out of here.
You need to get out with as much value as humanly possible. And so far, all 3 of them being alive, it's going to be nice. You could still go through, take some nice fights, get 300k per player. We'll see what we'll do there. But for YJK, NG, NL, your job would be to prevent everyone else from getting that loot value up. So if I'm doing that, you gotta take down LGDT and you gotta take down Fallen.
Scotty finds the angle, and I think it actually hits that. Shocker should either bring them down or get them extremely low. Maybe just tag the wall behind them. They've got a lot of utility here. And oh my gosh, Ravioli serving up an Italian dinner. Good gosh. Somehow wins that fight, forcing Mandel Brick Addiction to back off. Ravioli just turned and burned. It's gonna be a 3v2, but they're on low ground, still in a disadvantageous position.
Doesn't matter. He had the Formioli, and he is going straight through it. And look at this, a little Luna action. We're gonna send some of their Volt arrows and some shoulder peaks. They're connecting, but it's Pika that's gonna go down. Buldo able to time that properly, and we're just gonna keep on threading forward. Frag grenades galore, but you know what, who had this angle last time? It was Yuval, and he was a menace with it. But they're gonna peek together. Give you the power of the numbers. Going through, but you can't make it happen. Ravioli was really focusing on trying to hit a revive, and everything is going wrong for NGNL. 1 player left standing.
It's a great retake, but look who's third-partying this. YJK says, we want a piece of the action, as per the usual, coming into third party from the low ground. They don't want to overextend here. Yuval's actually able to clean up Ravioli with the grenade. No game, no life, with 1 player remaining and hardly an iota of health. 2 teams pinching them. Mandel Brick Addiction down to 2 players, 1 able to be revived later. It's going to be YJK coming into third party as no game, no life out of this lobby. A nice cleanup with the Sonic Trap.
Well, here we go. Buldo.
Run.
Yeah, and they're staying together. But honestly, maybe pulling them into this, right, would be interesting. Because you can throw down the traps. You can control the narrative here of this fight. Because mind you, every kill they pick up, which, by the way, they've got 6 of them, is worth 300k. And the only thing they're doing right now is just climbing up the leaderboard slowly but surely. But if you got a D-Wolf on the other side, a triple blaster in a hallway can be menacing, but so far hasn't done too much. They go ahead and get the res onto Skydie, and they're making it a 3v3.
Yeah, they heard the res timer going off. The ding of the dinner bell for a team trying to push up while a team member is busy getting the revive. Unfortunately, couldn't get there fast enough. But now it's a true 3v3. And it looks like there's another team in the distance, Fallen. They're in a different building. They're not going to engage in this fight for now. They could come up and play maybe a third party. Probably not. Probably just going to play cleanup at the end of whoever comes out on top of this fight. I think Mandel Brick Addiction is going to play this really slow and smart, frankly. The fact they were able to get the body all the way back, get the revive, and not lose anything for it is a huge, huge boon. Very well executed.
And we're just poised, holding angles. But for Mandel Brick Addiction, they're out. We are getting out of this area. Now we have to focus on extraction and what that's going to look like for us with just over 6 minutes left in the map. For Fallen, you know? Well, folks, prods. This area of the map has been so detrimental to a lot of our players early, specifically Perry, right? Those tanks, brutal.
A quick look at our map view here. Found some decent loot on main. It's a nice little 471,000 there. But on our map view, you can see what's been happening. Obviously, these are the 3 teams that are potentially going to be fighting. Fallen, the slower of the 3, haven't been a part of the action yet. Legirants, they did not engage with this Mana Brick. Mana Brick Addiction got it first and for free, basically, after wiping Perry. And I thought they were just going to play this extraction point over at Test Workshop. I think smartly, they're getting into the action. They know they need to start fighting. They can't play too slow. And all of a sudden, Fallen has opened things up. They found the top angle, the top ropes, taking down 2 members of YJK. The third nowhere to be seen. As we set up these levers to take the rocket extraction out, we are running out of daylight. We do want to get out of this lobby, if at all possible.
And there we go. Just under 4 minutes on the helicopter extract. They're likely going to play for that. But their issue is we've already got a team situated on it. Not only were they working on kind of barricading over by that horizontal test workshop, the backpack extract, now they've moved forward now that the levers have been extracted to make sure that we're going to play for that. YJK, though, coming back with a bit of a vengeance. And now HR and Fleric are going to be the last 2 players from Fallen. Trying to hit a reset, trying to play for this. And even so, not going to be the only teams here contending for this fight.
Holy cow. Last remaining member of the YJK squad is picking up some value here. Reminder, that's a full kill. Yes, they get the revive, but it's a full kill. That's 300k. I mean, we take those, especially when you're a solo against a full team of 3. Nice trade there. Great shot, by the way. Helicopter extract. We will not have time for the rocket extract. You can see that on the left by the mini-map. Legirant's getting into the mix as well, playing on this low side, south side of the map, playing closest to the extract here. Technically power position, but not when you lose a player to Fallen, an overextension and a peak and a cleanup. In HR picking up 1, and now Fallen has the advantage, although Legirants had the position.
Oh, now we all want to get out of here, especially Mandel Brick Addiction, right? 4.2 million obtained throughout this. We've got to send some players on out. Said they're going to grab a knock onto Nox. LGDT, granted, they didn't pick up a ton from this map. They're just kind of trying to hold on, and they decided maybe we can ruin some other people's games as we seek towards match number 6, but into the foliage we go. Sonic paralysis, it's going to be difficult to work around, but we have to hold steady. A ton of time left on this extraction point. What is it going to take for us to get on out?
I gotta say, this Fallen team is looking like Final 4. They're at the top of the leaderboard for a reason. YJK, a single remaining player on the map. There's really no use going back. I guess the only use for going back for your... Actually, I can't think of a single good one. You go back for your teammates right now, you're just burning time for no reason. They've already got what's in their safe boxes. Their bodies have been looted. You just got to play spoiler here. Go for the kills. It's 300k per. And a Brick Addiction have the power position. Technically, all 3 alive, closest to the extraction point. But they're not on it currently. A minute 20. Match clock, top middle, is for the map to end. On the left side near the minimap, a minute 15. That top timer is the one you got to keep your eyes on. That's the extraction point. Legirants have 2 to play with.
Oh, the patience. I think we just wait until the very end and you just run on out there. At least Nox on Stinger has smoke to play with, right? You throw it down, you run up to the extraction point, you get out with what you can. But plenty of time.
Forget about Fallen, though. They're getting punished. YJK, this solo is crushing it. Yaku making the most of a bad situation, loses teammates, but is picking up kill after kill as an individual. 35 seconds on the clock.
And I'm okay with that. Look, every person that you cut down gets you that much closer. You still have the chance to contend for a Mandel Brick in match number 6. So get your asset value up through whatever means necessary. For Fallen now, still only 2 players remaining. They had a nice 3 kills thus far, but we've got to see. Can we get on out? Do we run? But it's going to be a member of LGDT that's trying very hardly to cut them down. Everyone free falling. Smokes down, smokes out. 3 seconds to go. Can we get out with our lives?
Mandel Brick Addiction, they lose 1, but they get 2 out. A nice map for them, and I believe they're the only 2 to get out via that extraction, and now it's just going to be a bloodbath. We need these kills for some extra loot value going into the final map of the day. We were going to be playing 6 and 6 only today. There will not be another round after it. And these final kills could matter as LGTDT finally get a kill on Fallen. Abbreviation's not my strong suit, but a nice kill. Certainly the strong suit of this team. When they've got a high ground, they shoot straight. And they're picking up a couple kills on main.
Well, you got Flares that's over there towards the right, taking angles, but why JK? No. What is this? My guy has made it his personal mission to absolutely punish every single player left in the lobby. 1 HP and a dream. It's still taking people down.
How?
Next challenger, it connects. Look at that, just whittling on down. Can he make this one go through? Oh. No, he just needed to be breathed on before he fell, but he did enough and bring it on back. LGDT sends 1 player out through an extract.
Again, before we get into the game, but this is where we're at. This is from the last match. This is just match 5. Again, Mandel Brick Addiction finally came online. Pick up the Mandel Brick and the biggest map. 4.6 in total loot value will help them start closing the gap on the other teams that do have a Mandel Brick already. Giron's 1.5. The rest of these numbers really don't matter all that much. These are minute numbers in the grand scheme of things, but even still, a brutal map for everyone besides Mandel Brick Addiction, frankly. We were able to get that Mandel Brick and join the top spots. This is unbelievable. The competition couldn't be closer. Here's a look at the overall leaderboard. And Tiff, let's break down how this works. Literally almost couldn't be closer for the 2 teams at the top, jockeying for top position. We have 3 teams with a Mandel Brick, 3 teams without a Mandel Brick. Top 3 teams with a Mandel Brick will be the top 3 no matter what their loot values are. However, inside the top 3, those teams will be ranked via their loot values. So you're going to see the top 3 ranked accordingly and the bottom 3 ranked accordingly. See that on your screen right now. Perry, of course, in 4th as the top loot overall with non-Mandel Brick teams. The stakes, though, are that the top 2 are making it to LAN in China to play for $500,000 in the Delta Force Invitational, which is essentially Worlds. 8 regions, 12 teams. It's going to be insane. You got to be top 2, though. So the stakes right now are this. Mandel Brick Addiction has to get another Mandel Brick if they want to make it, or they need to prevent Lagerance and Fallen from getting a second Mandel Brick and pick up like 14 million in loot value. That's what they have to do. This is a tall task ahead of them, but they're at least within striking distance. If you're somebody like Perry, you got to pick up the Mandel Brick and a crazy amount of loot as well. We got to start wiping teams at the bottom of the leaderboard. You got to go absolutely pedal to the metal, fly at your opponents. Woo, this is going to be nuts. All right. Again, as a reminder, it's